be doing a look for Karwa Chauth. Karwa Chauth is a festival that is celebrated amongst married women. It's coming up this coming week, and I wanted to do a look for it to show you how I would dress up if I was actually celebrating it. Now, I don't particularly celebrate it because it is something that most Hindu Punjabis or Punjabi women will do as part of their cultural and tradition. But I thought I would do this look because it is such a beautiful kind of way that they dress up. And also, if you're celebrating Diwali, or if you really want just a really glamorous kind of look, this is the look that would be suitable for any of those kind of occasions. I wanted to tell you a little bit about what happens during that festival. And thankfully, my best friend, who is married to a Hindu Punjabi, talked me through everything that goes on, and so has my lovely Sushma Auntie. So early in the morning, women will wake up before sunrise and they will fast throughout the day until they see the moon. And so what that means is they'll wake up before sunrise, and there's a certain amount of food or types of food that they will eat, which consists of sort of dry fruit, fruit itself, and then different types of kind of special sort of sweets that they make that they're allowed to eat, which kind of opens up their sort of fast. And then throughout the day, they continue to not drink anything or eat anything right until the moon comes out. It's been depicted in lots of Bollywood movies, and it's a celebration of kind of love between a husband and wife as well. Most of the movies that you might have seen, you may have seen where the husband is giving water to the wife as soon as the moon comes out, and that's exactly what happens on Karwa Chauth as well. During the day and just before the women are about to break their fast, a lot of them gather together, all dressed up in beautiful saris. Mainly, I've seen women in kind of red, burgundy sort of coloured saris, and really dress up traditionally, almost like a bride. So it's beautiful to see that, you know, you have very different age of women kind of still honouring and doing this ceremony. Women that have been married to their partners for almost 30 years will continue to do it, and they'll be together with women who've just recently got married. So it's a beautiful ceremony of women coming together, and mainly it is the women that will all be together rather than their partners. And they have a special thali, which is like a tray, and they have different things on that tray. They will have kind of what we call things to adorn each other. So you'll have some rice, you'll have some red powder, which is called tanku, for doing a little tika or a bindi. And then you'll have your candles in there as well. You might have a little sort of steel glass, which has got some water in it, which is what you use to sort of break the fast. And they tell the story of Karwa Chauth. And so what happens is these women will gather around together, they tell the story of Karwa Chauth, and then they pass around their trays to each other until all of them have told it, and then the moon appears, and then that's when they break their fast. So I wanted to show you the thali or the tray that they use, and also what they look at to see the moon before they sort of break their fast. So before they break their fast, this is kind of what the tray looks like, and then all of these candles are lit. These are just made from cotton wool, and they light them. And then this is what is used for the water. And then in here you would put things like your rice and your red powder. There's another little pot here that we'd put to sort of do that. And then you'd have any of the kind of fruit or food that you would use to sort of break the fast as well. You'd add that to the tray. So everything that you need for that kind of session where you're with the other women to tell the story, you'd put into your tray. And this is kind of the beginning of sort of the moment when you start to break the fast. And then what is really, really special is this, and this is what they use to kind of look at the moon, and then they look at their partners as well, their husbands, and they place a little candle in here. They don't look at that. Once they've lit that candle, they throw it behind, and then they look at the moon like this and their partner, and then they take their water, and then that's the beginning of kind of breaking their fast, and when they're allowed to eat all the food that they really want to eat. So it's a lot of endurance kind of doing the fasting throughout the whole day, but it is a really beautiful moment of celebrating kind of being married and with your partner as well, and you know, women all coming together and dressed up in some beautiful clothing. So I wanted to do a look especially for that, because this is a huge festival out in India, and a lot of my friends who are Hindu Punjabi and Punjabi are also going to be celebrating that in this country as well. And so I wanted to do a look for that especially. But like I said, this look you can do for whether you've got Diwali coming up, or you've got Christmas coming up, or you've got any special occasion where you want to kind of get dressed up and go along to it. So let's get started. One of the things you may have noticed in my hands is my mehendi. Now, mehendi is also an essential part of Karwa Chauth. So brides will, or married women will kind of put on mehendi, or have done their mehendi beforehand, and they'll come to the event. This beautiful mehendi on my hands here has been done by my lovely friend Selina, and I know she's really booked out to go and doing Karwa Chauth mehendis all throughout this week as well. So she's done a beautiful kind of like mandala around the front of my hand, and then she's done little intricate designs around here as well. So that's an essential part of Karwa Chauth as well. So first up, I'm just going to prime my lips. I'm going to be using a lip scrub by Dior, and I'm just going to put that directly on, and this starts to melt away, and it's a scrub built in as a lip balm. So it's super easy. So it's a sweet exfoliating scrub, and I'm just going to massage that into my lips, give it a few minutes, and then I'm going to get on with moisturising my face. I've got the vitamin rich moisturiser here by Bobbi Brown. I'm going to use this as my primer. This is part of their bridal collection, and I use this when I'm working with brides quite a bit, and they've also got an eye cream as well, which I combine up to sort of use when I'm working with my clients who are brides. So I thought it would be perfect to use this for today's look. So I've just got this here, and I'm going to use it. I've also got Bobbi Brown's Hydrating Eye Cream. This is with aloe vera, and it's supposed to be really super hydrating as an eye base for your eyes, especially the lid area, and I'm going to be using that. This again is part of their bridal collection. This is what I would use on brides when I'm working with them. I'm just going to add that here and just work it through as well. I've also got my face massager, so I'm just going to really make sure that all penetrates through, and I just push it in to my skin. I'm going to take a lash curler and just curl my lashes as part of my prep grooming, and just do that for 30 seconds. And you can see how much of a difference that makes when you curl your lashes, even before you put any form of makeup on your skin. And that's my skin nicely prepped and primed, and I'm now ready to put on the makeup. So I'm going to be wearing a maroon sari which has got gold and it's got little bits of green in it today. I'm going to be accessorizing that with lots of gold jewellery, diamantes, and also cream coloured pearls into it as well. So I really want to kind of go with something that's going to match up, and what I'm going to use today and do first is my eyes, because again with this kind of traditional Indian look, what I find is that there's much more detail in the eyes and there's more product on the eyes as well. So I really want to do that first and then wipe away any fallout and then go on with the base. I'm doing it in this way because I think it will help you guys to understand how to get a much more cleaner and flawless finish. When I'm working backstage or when I'm working on set, I would always do the base first and then I would do the eyes. That's easy for me because I know that I'm not going to try and get too much excess product on my brushes and to make it fall down onto kind of my concealer or my foundation. But I would always advise that if you are a newbie to makeup, you are learning to do more makeup on your skin because you want to help it to make you feel confident and stuff, I would always do your eye makeup first, wipe any fallout away, and then start with your base. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set some concealer onto my eyelids because again I am going to be putting on quite a bit of eyeshadow and a lot of work in that area, and I just want my makeup to stay put to not allow any moisture to seep through into the eyeshadow, which will then sort of start to create lines in the eyes, and I don't want any of that amplified. So I'm going to be using Tarte Cosmetics and their concealer. This is in 32S medium. So I'm just going to take a little bit and put it onto my hand here, and just using a brush, I'm just going to place that onto the lids and just blend it through. And just use my finger, even it out. And this also then takes away any pigmentation you've got in the skin, which you can then build back in with the eyeshadow. So that's one eye done. You can see the difference between the two. And what this helps you to do is it helps you to take away any pigmentation in your lid area, so that you get an even base around it, so that the eyeshadow can actually look like the colours that they're supposed to be onto the eye, rather than it kind of being taken away from any kind of the undertone pigmentation in your eye area. Do the second eye. So that's my eyelids done. So I'm now going to add some powder and set the concealer. We do this so that any of the eye makeup that you add on doesn't slide away onto the cream. And by putting on a powder, it stays put and fixed into place, and it's also longer lasting for your total eye makeup. I've got my favourite here. I've got the Delilah loose powder here. So I'm just going to get a brush and just sweep it across the lids. So that's my lids done. I'm going to add on the Eylure eye palette now onto my brows, because I want to get them to sort of start and end in the right point, so that I can map up my eyeshadow according to this, and also my liner. And just start to add on a bit of depth at the end of my brows. And I tend to only do this on the front bits and then the end bits, but just depending on where you need to, just add in a little bit more. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to go in with the next one. Now they may feel harsh right now, but once you've got your whole makeup done, it will all start to seamlessly come through together. So keep continuing ahead, but this is the way that I would start to do my eye makeup. I'm going to go in with Tom Ford's cream crayon eyeshadow. So this is the first part, and you open it up like this. So this is where you have the cream pot, and then on top you have like a powder to add on to kind of fix it into place and to give it a bit more depth and definition in your eyeshadow look. These colours are beautiful, kind of a darker sort of gold tone and then a brighter yellow sort of gold tone. I think they'll be perfect for what I'm going to do today. So I'm going to start to add these onto the lids. So just looking into the mirror, I'm going to start to add it into the lid, and this is all of this area and below. So taking it as close as I possibly can into the waterline area. I'm using a different type of brush today. So I got these sent through to me, and I'm just testing out to see how it is. And I think this brush is quite good for this sort of stuff, because you have to push it in, the product, into the lid. So it's not necessarily a flat one, it's one of these where it's a bit like a stippling brush. So these Tom Ford products, they are some of my staple products that I keep in my bridal kit, because they are all the colours that a lot of Indian brides choose to have on their wedding day or some of their functions, and that's why I'm kind of using it here today. I'm going to take a little bit more just to keep building that product up. Great thing about this is that you can also use your fingers. So literally I have just used this brush and just my fingers to kind of create the shape that I want, and I've softened it out by just blending it at the top as well. I'm going to go in with putting on the second part of the product, because I don't want this to dry up too quickly, and I want to add in the powder on top. So again, this is what it looks like, and I'm just literally going to use my fingers for this today. I've just rubbed my finger into it, and that's what it looks like now. And I'm going to just add this to the center part of the eye, just to make it pop a bit more. Just going to get the brush and just blend it in at the top area and into the inner duct. So I've just done that eye, and I'm going to add in the gold to the cream shadow right again in the center, and then just give them, I want to create a little bit more depth, and so I'm going to be using another sort of palette to kind of add in the definition around the crease area. So I've got this beautiful Dior palette which I'm going to be using, and this is a their Dior Backstage palette. It's in 003 Amber Neutrals. And I'm going to take a soft brush and just kind of add it onto the crease and just blend it all through. So I'm going to go in with this kind of red tone here and mix a little bit of that with this one. And just add it into the crease. That's one eye done, the second eye. And then I'm going to put a bit of the dark colour, this one here, just on the ends, just to smudge that all through. And then a little bit of the lighter tone, and just to really ramp it up into the tear duct. So that's the eyeshadow part done. I'm now going to be adding in a beautiful liner. I'm going to be using the Maybelline liner, and this is the gel part that I'm going to be using. It's one I've used before and I really love it. So this is what it looks like. Now, tip on gel liners, don't leave the top on for too long. So if you're using it, literally just take what you need onto the brush and then close the top, because even if you keep it open for about 5-10 minutes whilst you're doing your liner, it's going to start to dry up, and then that's when it's just not workable anymore for your skin. The way I do eyeliner is I always start from the middle and then go onto the outside and then create the shape that I need from the inside into the middle to merge it all together, and then I finish off by doing the flick. So I'm just going to look into my mirror here. That's one eye done. I'm going to do the second eye and then I'll do the flick. Many a time people say to me that I can't keep my eye open when I'm doing my liner. And of course, when I first started, I was the same. But over the years, I've just found that if I keep my eye open, I do my eyeliner at the same time, I can actually tell what it's going to look like when my eyes are open. So I might close this one, but just definitely keep that one open rather than closing it. So I kind of alternate between the two. I'm going to start to do the flick now. So just taking it from the end. So that's my liner done. I'm now going to go in and just colour my lashes with some black mascara, and that will also help to get rid of any kind of glitter from the eyeshadow that might have fallen onto my lashes, and also conceal it. And then once it falls down, it will probably fall down here, so I can then just wipe it away and just move on to the next stage. I've got Bobbi Brown's waterproof smudge mascara here in black. So that's my eyes done. I will do any finishing touches like adding on highlighter to the top bits here, maybe a little bit more in the inner duct area a little bit later on. But I'm going to get on with doing my base now. So I'm going to wipe away any excess that might have fallen through, and then get on with doing foundation. I've got Bobbi Brown's Skin Foundation Stick here. This is in Honey, and this is what I'm going to use today for my skin. I'm going to start to sort of just take that around the skin, and I'm going for a bit of a warmer look today because I'm a little bit pale. And then I'm just going to start to blend it in into the skin. Bobbi Brown has some incredible foundations which I absolutely love. You've seen me using their Pro palette, which is a staple in my onset kit. But I also love these sticks, and you can actually reduce them down. If you're a makeup artist, you can reduce them down as well and put them compartmentalize them into smaller forms so they don't take up too much space into your kit bag, but they are really super handy. They're really super handy for when you want to kind of travel and you don't want the bulkiness of a big bottle. The consistency on this is not too sticky as well, so it's easy enough to kind of wear rather than being too much of a sticky foundation. And then once you add on powder, you can really kind of mattify it. And that's if you want to mattify it, or if you want to remain with a kind of creamy texture, this is perfect. So that's my foundation done. I now want to go in and do some highlighting, and I'm going to be using a concealer for that. Now, a few weeks ago I got a question which I wanted to answer here, that what's the difference between a corrector, a concealer, a correcting concealer, a just highlighting concealer. It's confusing me. And so what I wanted to say is pretty much it's just based on what the shade of the colour is that you're using. A lot of brands are doing different things now by calling things very different, so correcting concealers and highlighting concealers, and that can throw off somebody who's pretty new into makeup. So what I wanted to say is that if it's a corrector, then it's usually going to be a shade or two darker for you in terms of your undertone or your actual base skin colour, so that it will help to conceal away any kind of pigmentation area. If it is a highlighting concealer, then what a highlighting concealer does is it makes those parts of your face that you add it onto more prominent. If it's just a concealer, it could be just to kind of conceal away any small spots or also pigmentation. And I guess you have to decide, depending on what the consistency of the formulation is, or the colour shade, whether that is going to conceal away everything that you want to hide, or if you're going to need more of a kind of corrector to do that, and then add on a concealer on top to bring it back to kind of your base, or as close as possible to your base colour. So a concealer will probably not be too dark a shade in terms of concealing your pigmentation area or any redness in your skins or any blemishes or spots, but it will be a shade or two, whereas a corrector will be a little bit more than that. I hope that makes sense, but I probably will do a separate video for all of that, just to kind of explain it in a little bit more detail. Put your comments down below and let me know if you'd love me for me to do that for you. So getting back to kind of my concealer highlighter, I'm going to be using the Tarte Cosmetics one, which is what I used previously on my lids, and I'm going to add that into this kind of area here, a little bit on the forehead, slightly on the nose, and a little bit around here. And this is going to highlight the points of my face where the light catches it the most. So just working in here, a little bit here, slightly there, a little bit on the nose area, a bit around here. So I'm using this as a highlighter to make those parts of my face sort of like more prominent, and then I'm going to use a darker shade tone to kind of contour those areas, all based in cream. So just starting in this area here and just working quickly in, just gives it a little bit of a lift, and you'll see that instantly on the nose especially. You can see this bit is a little bit more darker compared to this area, and because the light here, with all the lights that I've got here, it's reflecting and catching that straight away. It's making it more prominent, and this is also how it will look to the naked eye as well. So whether you're taking a selfie, this is the part of the face that will capture the most, or catch the light or the flash, or if you're sitting in natural daylight taking a picture, it will catch this the most in this part of your face. And then just around here, I am just gonna start to highlight that a little bit more, and I'm gonna drag it down because I kind of want it to go into this area as well, and just lift. I'm not going to take it around here because that's where I want to do my contouring. So again, just taking that around here. You can use a small brush for this, but this is just what I'm using with my blending brush. Okay, so that's my base done. I'm now going to go in with contour, and I'm going to be using the Smashbox contour here, and this is a concealer in dark, but I'm going to use it as a contour to cut into the parts of my face that I want to kind of contour, shade out. That's another word that they use for it, for shading out or for creating definition. So I'm just taking it out and put it onto my hand, and then I'm going to be using a brush to kind of line out the areas that I want to conceal, and then I'm going to be using a brush to highlight the areas that I want to contour. So I've got this soft concealer brush that I'm using by My Kit Co to help to do that. I'm not going to do too much contouring because the foundation that I've used is a significantly, it's like one shade darker than what I am normally. The reason is because I just want to create some warmth in my skin today. It's really cold here in London and I feel like I've been looking quite pale recently. So I just want to bring back a little bit more warmth into my skin. I've done all of my contouring using the darker shade, and I've also done highlighting using a lighter shade of concealer. I'm now going to be adding on highlighter using a cream product. This is by Hourglass and this is their Rosegold Flash. It's a cream based product and that's why I'm going to add it now before I set my foundation. So with highlighter, the way to do it, you can either go straight in. I sometimes feel that's just a bit too much, so I'm going to use a brush to kind of do some of the highlighting. So I've just got a blending brush here that I'm adding the product onto, and I'm just going to go and do a little bit of highlighting. So I'm just going to take the side of the product and just add it in. Just a bit around here. So now I'm going to go in and just set that foundation with some powder using the same one I used before, the Delilah Cosmetics loose powder. So I'm just going to add that into these kind of areas, a bit of a dusting around here, a bit around the nose. And that's my powder set. So now for blusher, I've got my favourite Bobbi Brown blusher shades here. And this is a palette that I've got where I've customised all the colours and bought them individually and then put them into the palette. I'm going to be using probably these two here, maybe a little touch of this one. Just smiling directly into the mirror. I also like to put a little bit on the lids as well, just to soften it out and make it look like it's part of my own skin. And then I'm going to also add in a little bit of bronzer with Nude by Nature. This is their BYRON bronze and it's quite a deep colour. Looks like this, and I'm just going to add that to the outsides of all of my face rather than contouring it. So you notice that I didn't put any contouring powder on. I've just done kind of the contouring with the stick lightly before using the darker shade contour, and now I'm just going to bronze my face up a bit more with kind of this contouring powder. Sorry, a bronzing powder. And again, just go on the outskirts, because with bronzing you just want really big kind of scoops around the face. For eyeliner, I'm going to add in a little black smoke from Rimmel London. This is their Exaggerate eyeliner, and I'm just going to put it into my waterline. And I'm going to take the same Dior palette and I'm just going to add some shadow at the bottom to just really make my eyes come out. I'm going to go in with the Eylure lashes now, and these are in definition in 126. This is quite a strong and thick lash, so I'm going to add that on. Just using the Eylure glue here to just give that 30 seconds to dry. So that's the eyes now done. I'm going to go in and do my lips. I've got the Origins lipstick here, and this is in Wildflower. Now, many of you may not know that Origins do lipsticks and lip liners, but you might also already be aware of their beautiful skincare, which I also absolutely adore. But I really love this lipstick because it's a beautiful creamy consistency and it's a gorgeous red. So I'm going to add that on now, and that's what it looks like. So I've got their lip liner as well to match it up, and this is in 07, it's a red geranium. And I'm going to put the liner all over the lips so that I can really let the lipstick last longer. So that's what it looks like. That's what the red lip liner looks like. It's a really creamy consistency as well, so it doesn't make your lips dry up at all. Going in with the lipstick now. Straight in. So much more richer, shinier and creamier kind of lipstick compared to the mattes that you've seen me wearing previously. But again, not too sticky, just beautiful enough to kind of keep your lips moisturized and for it to be long lasting. A lot of people have been asking me over on Instagram recently that when I wear a red lipstick, how do I make sure that my lipstick lasts longer? And so here's my answer. I would do exactly the same procedure that I've done here now, and I would also then go in and blot the lips. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm just going to blot the lips with some tissue, and that's what it looks like. And what that does, it kind of takes away any excess, and this is kind of the way to sort of make your lipstick last longer. I'm also now going to give it a dusting of powder, loose powder, and then do a second coat of the lipstick. And what that does is then seals in the first coat, so that when your lipstick does start to come away or remove, it's the second coat that kind of comes away, but the underlying coat will absolutely remain intact and keep your red lipstick on throughout the time that you're celebrating Karwa Chauth or any other occasion that you're doing this look for. Just a bit of powder here across the lip, and it starts to make it really matte. Okay, that is pretty much my makeup done now. I'm going to set it all. I'm going to use my quarterly spray again. This makeup, I wanted to show you how I do it when I'm wearing my normal Western clothing, because it's something that, although I'm doing it for Karwa Chauth, you can also kind of wear, it's a wearable look for any other occasion, not necessarily with Indian attire. You can also wear it with anything that you're going to, like for example, an evening birthday party or a wedding for the day, or even upcoming Christmas parties and things that are happening around New Year's. So it's a wearable look for any occasion, but this is specifically what I've done for Karwa Chauth. I'm going to come back now. I'm going to go ahead and get my sari on. I'm going to also get my jewellery and start putting that on here so that I can show you how the final look all comes together. So I'm ready in my outfit. This is my wedding day sari, which my husband has given me from his side. On your wedding day, particularly around the way that Gujarati weddings take place, usually what happens is that the bride will walk in either an outfit or a sari that has been presented to her by her maternal side, and that's what I did on my wedding day. I wore a cream and a maroon sari with lots of beautiful gold bits on it, and that was the sari that my maternal side had given me to give me away. It's actually your mum's brother that buys you that, and it's a beautiful sari that I chose for myself. And then when I am getting married, as part of the ceremony, the groom's side will offer another sari, usually a red, maroon colour, or it could even be green. Nowadays, sometimes young people are choosing pink colours or alternate colours to the traditional ones, but this was the kind of colour that I was given for the wedding day from my husband and from his family. And so on Karwa Chauth, I know a lot of people wear some of their bridal stuff that they've previously been given, but also they would wear colours like this to sort of signify and look like a bride, because red, green, maroon are the kind of sort of bridal sort of colours that most people would wear around Karwa Chauth. So I thought I'd wear my bridal sari and show you how I finished this look with all the jewellery and all the other accessories that I'm about to put on. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to tie up my hair. I'm going to keep a centre parting. Just going to sort that out a little bit, and you will see why I'm going to tie it up. So literally just going to go in and just smoothen and flatten that down. This has been my kind of go-to hair for a while now, just preferring it to be slicked back, especially because I'm losing so much of my hair that I just prefer for it to all be tied up. Okay, so that's my hair tied. Now for jewellery. Go, looking pretty. And for the earrings, huge earring person. That's what the earrings look like. And sometimes I just wear my earrings by themselves, especially if it goes with anything that I'm wearing, like a black dress or something, just to give it a little bit of a difference. That's the earrings done. So a super important part of looking like a bride on that day, and this is optional. You don't have to kind of do this, but I kind of want to do it to show you the full sort of get up. A super important part of this is to also wear what we call sindoor, and sindoor is applied into the center parting to signify you being a married woman. You can get this in a powder form, or you can also get this in a kind of liquid form. And in modern day today, we are getting liquid forms and we're getting them like lipstick. So this is kind of like a lipstick version that I have, and it's much more easier to apply. So literally all you do is you just apply it into the center, and that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm just taking my mirror. So that is my center parting done to sort of signify the sindoor and of being married, and doing this puja specifically for my husband and a fast that married women do. I'm now going to do a couple of more things. I'm going to add on a nose ring. This is super optional, but I kind of want to go all out today. And then one super important part of the Karwa Chauth celebration is to wear the Mangalsutra, which is the chain that your husband gives you on the day of your marriage, and that is what they tie to you once you are married, as a kind of gift, and also to signify you being a married woman to them as well. So it's a super important part of the ceremony, and I'm going to put that one on today. And that's the final look. This is my Karwa Chauth look. I hope you've enjoyed it. Of course, I have dressed up a lot more than I normally would, and that you might prefer to do on Karwa Chauth, but if you have everything and you don't get the chance to wear it, why not go all out? Because it's such an important day, and the sentiment around it is so romantic and it's so beautiful, especially when you break your fast and your husband gives you the water and you're looking into the moon together to sort of see the first signs of the moon so that you can break the fast. This point, what would happen is the ladies would then start to go along to the puja or the prayer, and they would have their trays or the thali that I showed you, and they would pass their thali on to each lady, who would say the story of Karwa Chauth. And then after that, once the moon starts to appear, that's when they would break their fast. So I'm just going to finish off by just doing a couple of last things and showing those to you again now as well. My tray all ready, and then this is what I would look at to see the moon. So guys, that's the final look. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do let me know what you think. Leave your comments down below. And if you want me to do more videos like this, especially with Diwali and Hindu New Year coming up, and then obviously there's Christmas and New Year's celebrations for that as well. I hope you've enjoyed it. Do have a look at behind the scenes footage for more about this video, and if you've got any questions or you want to find out more about Karwa Chauth, just let me know. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Take care for now.